biggest.
Okay. So we're going to look at these last few examples. Now, the title of this section was addition and subtraction, elimination by addition and subtraction. So far, all we've been doing is adding. So that might make you think that maybe we have to subtract. So my question is why do you think we have to subtract on this one rather than add? Does anyone see it? Why would we want to subtract on this one instead of add them? What do you think? So we have the same variable here with the same coefficient, but if you add a -6 and a -6, they don't cancel. That's -12. So that wouldn't go away. So what we have to do instead is I want the signs to be opposites. So since they're not currently opposites, I'm going to change it to subtraction. So it's essentially kind of like multiplying by like a -1, but I have to subtract the whole bottom row from the top row. And the reason for that is because I want these to be opposites. Now I'm actually going to rewrite it because it's hard for me to like visualize and remember to use that negative. So the top row is going to stay the same way. But the bottom row, I'm going to subtract everything. So this will become a plus 6x, a minus 6y, and a -6. So this whole bottom row ends up being subtraction, so it changes all the signs. The reason why now this is good is this cancels out now. -6 and +6 will cancel.
Yep.
Yep, thanks. Thanks for the, thank God, you agree. So 3y and a -6y is how much? 3y and a -6y? What do we get?
-3.
Thank you, -3y. -12 minus 6 is a -18. So now I just have to solve this new equation. So I'm going to divide by a -3. So 18 divided by 3, negative is a positive, so this ends up being 6 here.
I like it.
Now, once I have my answer of 6, I have to substitute that back in to find my other variable, which would be my x. So, I don't know, top or bottom one, which one? Bottom. Okay. Now, careful, put it in for y, not x. Everything is 6 apparently here. Does this mean it's an evil problem? No.
What's that squigggle line next to 3?
It's supposed to be a 6, clearly. So then these cancel. I get a -30. And I divide by -6, and I find out x is going to be 5, right? So on these problems, just really, can you post yours up, please? So on these last couple, again, watching out for the fact that we want them to be opposite signs. So we have 9y and 9y. That's going to be 18y. That doesn't work for us. So we have to change it to a subtraction problem. So we're just going to... What? Yeah, so when it's adding, it's nice. Subtraction's a little bit more of a pain. Now, if you're okay with remembering it's subtraction, you don't have to rewrite the problem. You can just say it's going to be a -4x minus 1x, what is that going to be? Negative 4 minus 1, negative 5x. 9y minus 9y, we got to remember to change that. And then 9 minus a negative 6 is going to become 9 plus 6, so that's going to be 15. So Isaac, if part of the issue is that rewriting it just makes it that much more work. If you can remember that you're subtracting, you have to remember that you're making all of these negative, like you're changing all of their signs. Because now at this point, now I can divide by a negative 5. So x ends up being a negative 3. And once I know what x is, I can substitute that back and define my y value. I'm actually, if I put it in here, well, I actually think we get a decimal here, sorry. So I get negative 3 over 9, which is a negative 1/3. Okay on those. Let me show you guys just one more here before we go. So let's skip number 5 for now, if that's okay. If you want to still see that example, if you want to work through it and check it with me, that'd be fine. But let's go to this last example. The reason I want to mention this one is it's a little bit different. What's tougher about it? Do you guys notice it? What's wrong with it?
Big numbers.
Big numbers. They're not lined up. Yep, they're not the way we want. So they need to be lined up. So they need to be lined up. So we just have to kind of rearrange this. I'm going to leave the first one the way it is. It's not as bad as it sounds like. You just have to watch out for this. So since I'm adding here, I can just switch the order I add in. So I'm going to put the 7x first plus 3y. So now they're lined up. Now that's good. Are we going to add or subtract on this one?
Addition.
This one's a good one. This is addition because we have a negative 3 and a positive 3. So we can add them the way they are. So this is 48. Ends up being 3. And then I just have to substitute that back into one of these equations to find my y. I just put it into this bottom one. So for the homework, again, it's going to be due Friday because I don't see you guys tomorrow unless you, for some reason, are my ACT Aspire group. So now for the directions, it tells you guys to do like 3 through 15 odds. You follow their directions. You're probably doing elimination for those. But then on 16 and 17, I want you to use elimination. But on 18 and 19, I want you guys to use substitution. So that's what we did yesterday. I want you guys to keep reviewing that so you don't forget how to do that for when we test, which we'll be testing probably late next week. Okay? So I do want you still to practice substitution. So this is probably telling you to go against the like what the directions say. But again, this will be due Friday because of the fact that we don't see each other tomorrow.